Okay, hey guys. Good to
Hello,
see y'all.
hello. Good to see you
Hi.
too.
Okay, well, I'm excited to do this first podcast of we're calling this series our Hometown Spearman series, and we're going to talk about the great things that our kids are doing, and then great things that people who are in and have left Spearman too are out there doing in the world. Just my idea is just to inspire, our kids and our community to just do great things because I think that we've got a lot of good role models for that, both old and young. So um, our sirens are going off. They're texting. I'll just cut that out. Anyway, so we're in Spearman, so here we go. Okay, so Philly, just tell us like a little bit about who you are and kind of your background. I know I've read some things you've written about your family and kind of what inspires you, and I'd just love to hear that from you directly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. My name is Filberto Avila. Most people know me by Philly, which is awesome. So right now, I'm currently a senior. This is my last semester at West Texas A&M University, where I'm studying digital communication and media with a Spanish minor. And so it's been an adventure that I've been able to finish in 3 years. My family, we come from a Hispanic Mexican background. And so I actually moved to the United States when I was 8 years old. So I started my school career in Spearman, and that's where I graduated from. So I started in second grade, no English. And I've had a lot of great teachers that I still communicate with from Spearman that, taught me ESL and gave me their patience and everything. And so when I graduated from high school, I wasn't too higher education was not something that we understood in my family. Even till now, I feel like it's still a foreign concept in a lot of ways, even for me, who now I'm serving as a student body president here at West Texas A&M University, and so it's been an incredible opportunity to gain not just the student perspective, but also the administrative perspective of how higher education works. And so I'm able to understand that, but I'm not able to fully explain that and help my family understand that. So it's been an adventure. It's still going to be an adventure, and yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I think that's a small town thing as much as anything. That just kind of that pathway of college, right? Because even I was a first generation, college graduate in my family. So now Allie, that's all she's ever known. So she kind of had a different perspective. We understood as, and you'll be this way with your kids, you'll understand that as, how much college, how many doors and how many opportunities like are opened through going through higher education, or, even if you're not going to a traditional college, just going on and doing additional education if you can, because it really does, I think it really changes your path and your path in life. Um, so that's cool. So I don't know, I'm just curious. So how was it just like not understanding English? Like when you were a kid, did you just not know any better? You just kind of jumped in and I mean, that's
Yeah, no,
incredible.
yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
definitely that's very interesting. So um it definitely was a culture shock. And at that time, of course, I wouldn't have known what that meant or been able to describe it, right? But it was such a foreign concept. Oh, sorry, that was my phone ringing. I'm gonna
Okay.
end that. I'm so sorry about that.
Fine.
Um, Let me start all over with that question in case you need to cut it. So yeah, so learning English was definitely such a challenge, and at the time, now I can understand and I'm able to put it into words. It was definitely a cultural shock. It was something that I didn't understand at the time, and there was really nobody in my family who could take the time to sit down with me and were able to explain to me simple concepts, with homework specifically, since we're talking about education. So. Spearman is fortunate enough to have a great ESL program, in my opinion, for specifically for those students that are coming from a non-English speaking household. And I still remember my first ESL teacher. Sandra, she was great. I know she's still around. And, just I think the most important part for me was not necessarily the language, but was the support of having teachers and adults in my life that took the time to explain to me. And at home, my parents always prioritized for me to watch shows in English, right? Or movies or series or whatever the case was in English. And now what I discovered later on though was that I was getting used to just speaking English and I was slowly losing my Spanish. And so when I got more to the high school age and now in college, I try to use my Spanish as much as I can. I try to practice it everywhere that I can, just because English, I feel like I've mastered it. Of course, there's still some phrases that, as a Hispanic kid, that you don't speak it in your home to where sometimes I don't even know what you're talking about, like it's a common expression for some people, but for me, it's not. I used to, or even growing up watching certain TV shows that everyone can relate to, oh, when I was a kid, I used to watch this on Nickelodeon or this and that. Well, no, not really. I can't relate, so I don't get the concept. I don't get what you're really talking about. Um, and so it was definitely a process, and it's a process that I'm very passionate about. I think both from a bilingual perspective, but also just of service. I think I try to volunteer as much as I can, both being a bilingual interpreter or just translating a lot of pieces for local community members, just because I know the importance of belonging, and I know the importance of just being able to communicate and express what you're truly feeling.
I love that. I'm a big Brene Brown fan, and so she talked about belonging a lot, and so that's a concept that I love that. I love that you said that. So
Yeah, no,
uh,
I agree with that. I think I love Renee. She's a great motivational speaker, and where we were hoping at one point to bring her here to WT to be able to have her as a distinguished lecture speaker, but we haven't yet. Hopefully, we will.
well, she's she's a Longhorn, so
Yeah, yeah.
her. So, and I love, I sometimes get accused of being a little bit feisty, and I think she teaches you that that's okay. So I really love her. Like she teaches you to just kind of be who you are, and sometimes it's not pretty, So
Right.
anyway, but um, okay. So tell us. So I want to talk a little bit about the a Fulbright scholarship. So tell us, like, I mean, to me, that's a really big deal, right? And so when I saw that come across my computer, I was like, whoa. So tell us about that and kind of what made you apply for that. And then obviously, I know it's a very, I mean, it's a merit-based, scholarship. So, what do you think are some of the things that contributed to your achieving that?
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, Fulbright, right? So again, when I first came to WT, my plan originally was I came as an English education major. I wanted to go back to Spearman and teach. I've always found myself in a teaching setting. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy being able to help people, whether it's in a formal or informal way. I think teaching is, to me, is a very, very important job and career, and it's most even more than that. I think it's a vocation, and I truly, truly appreciate educators from K through 12 to higher education to everything in between. But so one of the things that I still remember when I was in Spearman, a senior in Spearman, that I would talk about with my friends at the lunch table is like, I've always wanted to go to Spain. Like Spain has always been my dream. Our family has ties from there. My great grandparents, they migrated from Spain to Mexico. And so, just understanding a little bit of the history, it was always important to me. But I never really saw it as something that was realistic, or at least at the time I didn't. Then I came to WT my first year. I ended up changing my major after the first semester, not because I didn't like English education. I still love it. I'm still very passionate about it. But because I didn't realize, again, going back to this first generation perspective of all the other things that I could do. And I had dreams, just like everyone else has dreams. And I just didn't realize that there were people, there were tools to get me there. Well, fast forward to the summer of my first year at WT, I went on a study abroad trip to Spain with the WT Spanish program. And so that was life changing. And I think whether you're a first gen student or whether you're a traditional student or come from a family of people that have some sort of degree, it just changed your life. It changes your life if you allow it to change your life. And I think that's what I did. And I took advantage of every minute that I could while I was there. And so I knew that I wanted to go back. So last summer, summer of 2023, I decided to look for internships. You know, it was coming. I knew I had one more year left and I needed to get that experience, about real world experience, professional, see if this is what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do, so on and so forth. And so I actually got an internship in Madrid. I worked for 3 months. So I went back, I worked for 3 months for a fashion company that is very sustainable, very vegan, eco-friendly. So it was awesome. It was definitely very different from a study abroad. Now I wasn't just the tourist. I was actually emerging myself into the culture, into the everyday lifestyle of people, traveling to work, so on and so forth. And I loved it. I knew that is what I wanted to do. I know that's what I wanted to be at and continue to, I'm very big on cross-cultural communication. That is what I tend to focus on a lot when it comes to research or when it comes to just talking about people, is really understanding that cultural aspect of communicating with others. Um, anyway, so after that, I talked to the director at the time, Carolina Galloway, at the time here at the Study Abroad office. And so she had mentioned to me before about Fulbright, but I hadn't really looked too much into it. It was she told me it was a very long application. She really encouraged me to do it, but I just didn't really have the time because I had also just been elected student body president, so my focus was on here at West Texas A&M University, making sure that I had a plan for my administration and so on and so forth. But the more I looked into it, the more I saw that we have a lot of great alumni at West Texas A&M University that have gotten the Fulbright Scholarship. And so we have some common friends, and I reached out to them. And after talking to them, I was like, well, you know what? Maybe this is something I could do. Maybe this could get me back, and who knows? We'll see what happens. So the applications for Fulbright tend to open in April. And I actually did not start mine until September of this past year. I waited that long just because I wasn't too sure. Not because I didn't want to do it, but it was almost a little too ambitious for me, or what I thought at the time. Um, so anyways, after finally talking to Carolina once more, I was like, you know what? Fine, let me do it. If I get it done in time, great. And if I don't, it's a learning experience. I can maybe try some other way. So I filled the application, which is a very lengthy application, lots of essays I think it's about 13 pages in total. You have to, there's three different types of essays. There's a CV/resume that you have to include in there. You have to have four recommenders and a language evaluator. So it's a strong and a very long process as well. So I finally did it after so many revisions. WT, the committee that works with Fulbright, recommended me, and so that happened. I submitted my application in October, and I did not hear back from them actually until, if I'm not mistaken, late December, early January. It takes that long for the national committee in the US to review it, recommend you. From my understanding, this year there were 5,000 applicants. And so depending on the country you're going, depending how many grants they're able to give you, that also decreases or increases your chances of getting a Fulbright. And Spain is a highly competitive country just because so many people want to go to Spain, and they also don't have as many grants to give. So I heard I was a semifinalist, and it was such an amazing feeling. And I thought, okay, well, if this is as good as it gets, then it's great, you know? And so then about a month and a half later in February, I got an email from the commission in Spain that they wanted to interview me because I wanted to really work with high school students, which high school is very different in Spain. It's not the traditional American high school or college level students. That's the group that I prefer to work with. And that makes it even more competitive because usually they give those to master's students. And I'm just right now finishing my undergraduate. Well, finally had a meeting with an interview with the committee in Spain. It was about four people, two from Fulbright, two from IE University, which is where I will be working at. And 2 weeks later, here in April, I got the the notice which happened to be on my birthday week, which made it even extra special. Um,
Awesome.
that I had been accepted to it. And so going back to answering your question about maybe some of the merits that I feel like work. So one is my current position as student body president. And I always give all credit to my team because it really is not just me. I have a great team that I get to collaborate with every day, ranging from student volunteers to staff members and administration and faculty. I am very, very happy with the team that I get to work with, and I try to elevate them as much as I can because they elevate me as much as they can, and it's a group effort. And I'm very, very grateful to work with some of the most dedicated, selfless, and serving people that I know that I've met, which reminds me a lot of Spearman. Spearman people are like that, and it's just another home here away from home. And
Right.
so it's been great. I think that this position has taught me a lot about leadership. Not everything, of course, but a lot to help me where I'm going in the future. And so I think a lot of the experiences that I've had here helped with that. When I was in Spearman, or when I lived in Spearman full time, I started the Spearman Catholic Scholarship Committee. And again, I give that credit to the people that helped me start that. Well, I may have had the idea. I mean, I couldn't do it by myself. I've had some great mentors in Spearman, and I still do as well, that have helped me, you know, push me to continue to do these things that I'm very happy to do. And if I'm being honest with you, Suzanne, I don't always see it as a great thing. I think it's almost like that's something that everybody should do. I think it's just, another thing to do in our lives. And it makes me happy that the people feel it or see it like that, but I've never seen it as something so life-changing or impactful. It's changed me for sure, but sometimes I don't know if it really changes a lot of people around me.
Right.
Um, but the Spearman Catholic Scholarship Committee, I put my heart and soul into that. And while I'm no longer serving as the executive director, just because I'm here now full time and I know that I can't devote as much time and effort as I used to, I decided it was in my best interest and the best interest of the organization for me to step down. And they've been very successful till this day. If I'm not mistaken, this year we'll be getting close to $20,000 in scholarships that we've given away since 2021 when I first started. And ever since then, I think that was a very life-changing moment for me, almost like a before and after, in the sense that that's when I knew and I saw the value of education, and I wanted people who also wanted that change in their life, even if I could just help in a small way, um, to feel that, to understand how impactful, and you said it earlier, how many doors education can open, how many opportunities, and if anything, just seeing the world through a different lens, education really, really does that. And I think I will always, no matter if my career stays in education or not, I know that I will always be a big advocate for education in general.
Well, so you touched on so many things there, but one of the things that you said, and Allie and I have talked about this in the past too. Well, in fact, we just talked about it today. It's like our imposter syndrome. Like, are we really, are we really doing anything? Are we really making an impact? Are we, can I really pull this off? And I think that, it's great to hear that we all struggle with that because I think when people look at someone like you or they look at Allie, y'all are role models, in my opinion, to kids, and y'all are showing, the kids that come behind you, what they can do and what goals they can achieve. And so I think it's super important that y'all continue to do great things because I think that's what, whether you know it or not, you are impacting kids and you're impacting adults. I mean, we love to see you guys be successful and go out and take on the world. We sort of feel like we take a little credit for it, right? So y'all are so, and you'll always be our kids, um, but the thing probably that the world needs more than anything is a bunch of small town kids in charge, right? I mean, you guys are, I mean, the world's kind of crazy out there, and you guys have the set of values that, people really need. And I know, you'll impact the world with those values and make it a better place. So we need more kids leaving Spearman and then, but you can always come back. We'd love to have you come back and teach someday. We definitely do that, but Allie, do you have anything? We just keep talking, but
No, I'm just enjoying the conversation. And it's
okay.
kind of I love it. I'm just
Well,
listening. I'm
I
having a
think
great time.
it's because Philly, you're like a year or two ahead of where Allie is. And I think some of the things that you just mentioned, we've talked about, like, trying to figure out, um, you know, are you taking the
I'm
right
a little
classes,
bit
internships?
on the fence about studying abroad, and I don't
Yeah,
know
do
if I'm on the fence anymore. I think I need to do it.
I highly recommend. With it doesn't matter where you want to go. I think everybody can and should study abroad. I mean, it really like, this is gonna sound so cliche, but the world really is a small place. Like it's not as big as people make it
Right,
seem to be, and you really don't realize that until you leave your comfort zone. And sometimes that means leaving the country. So
right,
hey, I
absolutely.
recommend.
See, that's one thing, like as a first generation, college, I had no idea what study abroad even was. In fact, a lot of my friends and I, we kind of laugh because we watch y'all and we're thinking, gosh, we were just lucky to get signed up for classes. Like all of the things that that are ahead of y'all, is just going to make that experience so much more. And you need to do it because someday you'll take a job and then you'll be locked into that, and then you'll start a family and then all of that, and those experiences are way so much harder to do when you've got that much responsibility. So I think it's cool. So what will you be teaching in particular? I think I missed that if you said it.
Yeah, no, no, no. So I will be serving as an English teaching assistant. And so what that means specifically with IE University is I'll be specifically working with their language center as well as their writing center. And so they have two campuses in Madrid and then one in Segovia, which I've been fortunate to be in both, not the campuses, but in both cities. So I'm familiar with the culture in each one. So I'll be focusing with IU University has over 70% of its student body is international. And so since IU University is an international university, English is what the courses and everything is taught in. There's a few exceptions to that, but the majority of what is taught is in English. So I'll be serving, just reinforcing those English skills. And then the other side to that is their faculty is also international. A lot of their faculty are international. So I'll be helping with teaching them Spanish so they can get used to the city there and or just the country in general. So that'll be my primary work. The other side to the Fulbright is that you have to work on a supplementary project. And so for me, I'm leveraging my digital communication and media skills that I have learned in undergrad into some sort of interactive blog for the students and the faculty members to be able to, keep on increasing those skills in a more I don't want to say published in like the, New York Times type of way published, but more on like in the everyday type of, what did you do today? What are you learning? Just so for them to increase those skills. So that's kind of like what my primary focus will be.
Oh, that's so cool. I love
That
it.
is so cool.
That communication platform, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple more questions. Allie, if you don't, I'll do mine.
You go for it.
Jump in if you want to. One of the things that well, I talked about just a minute ago about students that look up to you in our community. What would you like? Do you have any like keys to success, or do you have any things that you would share, in particular about kind of why you think, you've been able to accomplish and achieve so much?
Yeah, so I don't think there's a secret formula. I think something that the WT has taught me a lot is everybody brings their own strengths and everybody's successful with their own strengths. I don't necessarily believe in replicating somebody else's strengths just because sometimes that's not what I may be good at. So I would say that that would be my first step, helping students understand what are they good at and understanding like, what am I maybe not good at? And that's okay, there's a lot of things that I'm not good at, one of them being science. I'm just putting out there, I do not understand science. I mean, I think it's awesome and I'm glad people are out there that do, but I'm a talker and I communicate and that's just what I'm good at. And I've been able to, I guess, succeed in that way. But also, I think one of the things that has helped me the most is gratitude. I cannot overemphasize how important it is to be grateful for the little and the big things. I think especially the little things, a lot of times, especially being this young, we don't always tend to realize the importance of, again, I go back to this, the teachers. Teachers really are the bedrock for success in a lot of ways. I think just being able to be grateful for the things that our teachers teach us, our parents, members of the community. Now, it's also important to understand, we have our own also, I don't know how to put it, like ideas, and it's important to not let go of those. But being grateful really, really does take you a long way. Being grateful opens so many doors. People are more likely to be open to you and to be able to give you opportunities. I'm a big believer that technical skills can be taught, but personality and being grateful and being genuine and authentic is something that you just have to do it. You just have to be able to be you. And the other thing is, I always emphasize this here to the students that I'm able to influence, or that I get to talk any chance that I get, is networking. I cannot overemphasize how important networking is. And not superficial networking. It goes back to that gratitude aspect, but really like getting this genuine interest to meet people and reach them where they're at and understand them, and making yourself available, and just really, I mean, networking really has been life-changing for me. And I think that also goes back to being a first-generation student. Networking is probably not a word that we ever talk about in my household. But really, I mean, it's huge. I think it's one of the things that have really helped me in just taking initiative. I mean, networking not just with people that are ahead of you, but also within your own circle. Is huge. I mean, I try to take advantage of it as much as I can, and I met some of the most interesting people that have taught me some of the most interesting things. And so so a funny thing, at the end of every month, I usually, on my notes, I always take what I learned in April, for example. And so, it actually goes to the networking experiences that I have. Like, somebody will say a phrase that I'm like, oh, that's so good. That's a good lesson. So I'll write it down and I'll keep it, and I'll look back in the months before. And I started doing that about, I don't know, a year or two ago, where I just write, what I learned in each month. Sometimes it's a lot of things, sometimes it's just 2 or 3 things, but it goes back to that, again, not the superficial networking, but the genuine interest of meeting people and understanding them. So I would say, especially high school seniors that are graduating, or even college students currently, whatever stage they are, take advantage of using your student card. I think sometimes we give that for granted, in the sense of, like, people are more likely to open up to you as a student than as somebody who's out in the workforce, who they can see as competition. So I can't emphasize that enough.
I know.
I'm
So
with
Alex,
you. I'm with you on that all the way. I think networking is scary a little bit, but what I've learned is that people want to talk to you. People want to, teach you things, and they want you to be successful. And so I think, like, getting out of your comfort zone and just talking to people and learning from them is so, so, so important.
100%, yes.
what was it, Allie? You were saying one of your
This is what
talking about LinkedIn and reaching out to people, and what they say, you need to be making so many contacts a day or something.
Oh yeah, I went to a meeting the other day for one of my orgs, and it was like, you need to be like cold emailing 5 people a day. Just crazy. But I feel like that's a little bit dramatic. But that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, my former life politics, and so everything we did was so dependent on relationships, and real, like, connected relationships where we really, understood each other. And I, even 30 years later, after leaving Austin and kind of being out of that business, I'm actually building a blog right now. I'm currently, I started writing about rural Texas political issues, is what I'm focusing on. And I'm building out a little network, and I've noticed that it's my old Capital network that have been some of my biggest, supporters on that. I don't bring anything to the table for them at all anymore, but those relationships just through the years have developed. So yeah, it's really, that's super important. for y'all to be doing. And that's something, you know, I think with a small town, we just assume we're all connected, right? We don't have
Right.
to actively do anything, but yeah, we still should be doing it too, because that community is what supports you, you know, for the rest of your life, really, throughout your career and everything else you do. But what was that? What was the other question? Oh, okay. So, and this can be for both of y'all. Allie, you can think about it too, but so like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years or 10 years down the road? I mean, kind of what's your future look like to you, Philly?
Yeah, so that's a $1 million question for sure. No, you know, I want to be in Spain. I want to live in Spain full time. I don't know if I want to be there for the rest of my life, but I definitely want to be there for the first, I don't know, you know, for to start my professional career. I think I like their lifestyle, I like their work style. I can see myself thriving in that environment. And so I always get stuck when it comes to picking a career, right? I love higher education, and I think higher education in a lot of ways comes, I don't want to say naturally, but I don't think it's as difficult for me as other things that I've had in my life. Of course, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier about being a first-time student, you know, the language does get you sometimes, the understanding, the context of things in a lot of ways is can be difficult, but I consider myself to be somebody who's a natural learner. I like to learn and always inform myself, so it's been easy. The other kind of career is actually, you know what, I studied digital communication and media, so one of my dreams in life has always been to work for Vogue. And so I think Vogue España would be ideal for me. An ideal career would be, you know, working for Vogue España, part-time instructor at a institution of higher education, and serving as a board member for a nonprofit. I think my life, I would be happy there. I really would be. But I also know that life takes interesting turns, and so I'm always trying to be flexible and adaptable in those ways.
Oh, I love that.
That's
I love
amazing.
I'm a big fashion girl. I thought I wanted there was a point in my life, and I'm not even lying, and Alex didn't even know this, but I literally wanted to design clothes like that. I used to make
Yeah,
anyway, so that's really
no, it's
funny.
fun. It's fun.
And I still love fashion, although I'm kind of a Target fashion girl, so I'm not like
But
a
she has the ability to make Target clothes look so fabulous. Like more than anybody else I've ever met. And her friends say that too.
Well,
It's a
hey, you
skill for
know, just
sure.
looking at these glasses, I'm obsessed with these glasses. Like, they're so cute. They really
Thank
are.
you.
I'm loving them.
They're new. They're new,
I love
so
it.
yeah. I do get a lot of compliments on them. So, uh, well, Allie, do you have any other questions? Like, I'm trying to think
I
of
really
that.
don't. I think I don't know. I think you've hit everything, unless you've got more.
Ali, where do you see yourself? I want to hear from you too. I feel like we
Oh
haven't been able
gosh.
to catch up in
Okay.
a while.
I know. I haven't talked to you in forever. So I'm majoring in finance. I'm thinking I'm either going to do consulting or I really want to do investment banking, which is a little ambitious, but you know what? It's possible. Just got to work for it. So I'm trying to find kind of a smaller gig this summer, and then I'll apply to all the big guys next summer and hopefully land something there. And then, yeah, just really go corporate, and then eventually I'll do my own thing. But that's kind of the plan.
No, I think that's awesome. And it is very possible. It's very realistic. I mean, really,
Yes,
I don't think there's such thing now. I don't think there's such thing as impossible. It's just
right.
hard work for sure, but it's
Yes.
doable.
I'm trying to get myself out of the mindset of this is too ambitious and just say, no, it's not. Go for it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
no,
working on, but we're almost there.
it's awesome. No, I love that.
My favorite saying is "make it happen," right? That's
Yeah.
I
my
know.
that's hanging on my wall. That's been a motto of our house for a long time. But isn't that funny how you both are so successful and yet you sit here and question, can I really do this? But we all do, right? That's just
I
a
think I think a little of that ties back to being in a small town a little bit, which
yeah.
I think it's just part of it. And it's not necessarily like I don't know. I think we just have a different mindset on stuff like that because of living in a small town. But I think once you overcome that, you're better off.
Well,
Yeah.
our world's pretty small here, right? I mean, it's hard to see
Yes.
the big.
It's hard to see not even just the big picture, but just how many opportunities there are in the world and how many different things you can do. And so I think that's just one of those things that you kind of have to overcome. And I think a lot of that can be done by talking to people, you know, and hearing other people's stories and what they've done and how they've done it. And yeah, I think that's the key to that.
Is it okay?
I'm still working on that.
Because I'm thinking of like a high school kid right now who's thinking, I really want to go be, a brain surgeon, but can I do that? Like, what do we have to what do we have to show them so that they know, that they can dream that big? And even, I mean, I think the community in general, we don't dream big enough. I actually had a conversation with someone the other day just saying, does our community really fit our values? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when I see, the way that the town looks or whatever, I think this doesn't really represent the big, ambitious, like town that I think we are, so I guess that is just something that you constantly struggle with is too
But
ambitious.
I think it takes a handful of people to change that, like a couple of people saying, let's, change this, let's make this great. And that's all it'll take. You just need those people.
No,
I think they exist.
y'all both talked about it. I think, 100%. I think imposter syndrome really can be a blessing and a curse. It really has pushed me to every day try to be better than the day before. But at times I can also see where it can drain me down and sometimes not be able to celebrate the little things even. So it can definitely be both a blessing and a curse. But it goes back to mentorship, I think. And again, that also, I think I'm very big on gratitude and being grateful as much as I can. But mentorship, I think, is so important. Some of the greatest people that have influenced my life, I consider them mentors. They can be somebody my age, or they can be somebody, double my age. I just think that's the fascinating thing about mentorship. It really doesn't matter the title or position, or even experiences. It can be just as simple as a listening ear all the way to somebody who has done what you want to do. I think Spearman, in that, if we're talking about little towns, I think we have a good combination. I think we can still do more for sure. Mentorship, but some
Right.
of the greatest people in my experience here at WT. So I happen to be a scholar of what we call Rogers Lee WT. And so the program donors, Dyke and Terry Rogers from Dalhart, Texas, big philanthropists in the area and the university, they are always talking about mentorship and just being grateful. And it really has impacted me. So,
Yeah.
Dalhart is not much different than Spearman in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So, hey, we just got to find those people.
No, I agree. And I think, one of the great things about small towns and probably what, both of y'all probably understand is that, we are tight connected. We are supportive. Your teachers, your neighbors, the coaches, the church leaders, I mean, so that's what's cool. I mean, that's what's different from a city. And so, but yeah, we can always do a lot more to kind of lift each other up and mentor each other. No doubt. So, well, I don't have anything else, I don't think. What do you got? Do y'all? Okay. This is fun. Can we just do this like every week? I'm just
I
kidding.
know, this is great.
This is good. I mean, this is one of the things that I have to do in my current
For all of us, right?
position. Yeah, no, it really is.
All overcome our imposter syndrome. Because
That's our missions. Let's all do
Yes,
it.
imposter syndrome. Yes.
Well, Philly, I wish you the best of luck. I'm so
Thank
excited. I
you.
can't. When do you like leave for Spain? Do you have a timeline?
Yeah, so I leave in September. The first 2 weeks are orientation weeks, and then I start my job duties that following week, and then I should be back end of July, somewhere around there. And so However, with this opportunity, I'm able to renew it for a second year. So I'm hoping that they love the work that I do and they want me to there for another year. If not, I'm going to try my hardest to find a full-time job, hopefully within the same university. Again, I think it's a great opportunity for international specifically, given their status and how they work. So we'll see.
Okay,
I love
very
it.
cool. We
If I'm
can't
ever
wait.
in Spain, I'll be
Yes.
calling you.
Please come visit.
Did I do study abroads for grown women? Because I think I figure that out. I'd be
Yeah.
I
Hey,
think
you know,
I think she
maybe
needs to go back to law school.
maybe you could do a study abroad for Spearman, you know, hey, get some adults that want
There
to
you go.
travel, get them going.
I will work on that. That sounds like fun. So, okay, guys, y'all are awesome. I'm so proud of both of you. Keep being big, doing great things, and maybe in a few years we'll do this again, and we'll see if we overcame our imposter syndrome, I guess.
Right. All right. Well, no, thank you for this. This was fun. It was great seeing both of you. Ali, I keep in touch with you on LinkedIn. I haven't seen you
Yes,
both much,
absolutely.
but I still
I
keep
know
in
I'm
touch.
bad. I'm gonna get better.
Y'all link in or whatever it is that you do and help each other. So
That's right.
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much. It was fun, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.